Hey, what's going on, Los Angeles? Welcome to the Rams Skinny here on the LAFB network. We are Los Angeles Sports, and we are both in kind of new locations. So everyone gets to see a little different side of the Skinny and Ryan D's apartments. I get that sounded weird, but we're in different spots recording. Both of our significant others are taking over our other space. My wife, unfortunately, is like very, very sick. Been in bed, so hopefully she gets better. Yours is I don't want to spoil anything, but auditioning, working.
Yeah, she's an actor. So
yeah. There you go. She was in just something recently. I don't know if you want to plug that real quick.
I can't.
Never mind. I'm glad I didn't say anything. So, but yeah, actress doing big things. But thank you all for hanging out with us. We have a linebacker signed today, right before this recording. So the Rams have a second linebacker on the roster. We'll talk about that a little bit. And then we're going to look towards the draft. We've been teasing it for a while. Let's look at the first round. The Rams currently sit with the 26th pick. No rumors yet if they're going to trade out, but you never know with the Rams team. Trade out, trade back, whatever, trade up, as they almost did last year. So we'll look at some options of positions and players that they could potentially target in the first round. So first and foremost, though, Skinny T, how are things going on a sunny but chilly day in LA?
It's good, man. It's I had a couple of days off. I was up in the Central Coast. Shout out to our Monterey listeners and everybody south of there as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a fantastic time up there. Just some good time with some family and eat some good food, some good seafood, and back at it. LA football never stops. Here we are.
Never stops. You were off on Saturday and you got a little morning writing session, and I woke up to like articles written. I'm like, what are you doing? You're on vacation, but I appreciate it. So never sleeps.
When you love your job, working is a lot more fun. And I had a couple hours to kill. I'm usually the first one up. I don't know why, but that's just how it happens. And so I just I took that time to do some work.
Well, good for you. Well, I appreciate it, but yeah, I'm jealous. We talked in the last episode, so we won't belabor it, but I just love that area. Just quickly, did you go to any restaurants up there? I know there's not a lot, or did you mainly just cook in house?
No, there's a fish place that I can't think of right now. But it's right by the ocean. It's south of the Moonstone Beach.
Okay.
Sea Chest. That's what it's called.
Sea Chest.
Yeah.
Straight out of
cash
the Hallmark
only.
movie.
Yeah. Cash only. And I got the scallops and shrimp, but then I saw a lady had crab legs, and I didn't see the crab legs on the menu, and I was all jealous. So that's what I actually wanted.
I'm like a good old crab leg in the Central Coast. Do you have a nice glass of red wine with it?
I had champagne with mine, actually.
Champagne? You're always throwing curveballs at me.
Yeah, champagne goes with everything. You can't go wrong.
Good for you. I love it. So,
it was the one I brought over for you guys for New Year's, and
then we regifted it back to you.
Yeah, so perfect.
Yeah, I love champagne, but I can only drink it on like special occasions. I'm not just like a avid champagne drinker, but I do enjoy it. So, but good. Glad you had a great time. Hopefully you got some recharge. Glad to have you back. Glad to be back on the show, which is brought to you as always by BetOnline. Head to betonline.ag today. All the best game lines, money spreads, best wagering website out there. Dodgers baseball last night, 3 a.m. beat the Cubs for the season opener 3-1 or 4-1. Excuse me. They play again tonight at 3:10 a.m. I tried to stay up last night, did not make it. Maybe I'll try again tonight, but you can wager on that game at BetOnline. They got all the stuff there. Kings hockey going to the playoffs soon, Lakers playoffs soon, or you can bet on the draft. Who are the Rams taking in the first round? If you bet on Cooper Kupp ending up in a Seahawks uniform, you maybe won some Skrilla, but all that can be done at betonline.ag, where the game starts. Tell them the guys at the LAFB network sent you. Skinny T, let's start with the breaking news. The Rams get their linebacker. And knowing the Rams, they're probably done at linebacker. Like, they signed a guy that no one's heard of. Nate Landman, played with Atlanta. I remember when it first came across, myself, you, everyone, who? All these backers that we put all these names out there, Devin White, Isaiah Simmons, all these different names that were like, oh, maybe some tread on these tires that they could really get some use out of. They go get a guy that no one's heard of, but, and I'll toss it to you right now, actually a lot of production from our Zimbabwean friend, Nate Landman. So toss it to you. I mean, this is actually a pretty good signing, actually.
Yeah, I was surprised. Usually these kind of names will pop up and I'll take notice, but he signed with Atlanta in 2022 as an undrafted free agent. Played at Boulder, Colorado. He was a Buffalo, but 2023, 110 tackles. 2024, 81 more tackles. So he's got some production. He's got plenty of reps. He played 75% of snaps in 2023, 65 in 2024. So he's been on the field a lot. I know the Atlanta defense is not the talk of the town by any means, but the guy was able to stay on the field amid all sorts of competition, I'm sure, over there. And, obviously the Rams have a little bit of a foot in the door there with Raheem Morris sitting at the front desk, sitting at the front or the head coach desk, not the front desk. But
maybe they have it at the front desk. Maybe he does,
answering phone calls and signing people in.
Undercover boss, right?
Yeah, there you go. Perfect. And for linebackers specifically, for coverage linebackers specifically, I like to look at Yak, and he did a pretty good job. In coverage, he allowed a couple of big games for yards after the catch, but for the most part, pretty good in coverage. So, really what we were looking for to pair next to Omar Speights. So I think, there was some chatter that they might go first round linebacker, which was blowing everybody's mind. But good size, good weight, 6'3", 238. So I think he fits just right. I wouldn't be surprised if they drafted a linebacker somewhere, but I think this is their guy. I think this is their guy. Yeah, I think they should as well.
Yeah, it does seem like this, even though not many people have probably heard of him, this signing, he will slide. Obviously, I think they'll have a competition. Nothing will be guaranteed, even with Omar Speights at this point. But if they have more backers on the roster, that is, you need more to have a competition. But it might be all UDFAs. I mean, Landman was a UDFA. Speights was a UDFA. If they don't draft anyone, they'll add some UDFA. It might be just a UDFA fest at a training camp at the linebacker position. But yeah, I mean, I think for the value, it's a 1-year deal. Did the contract numbers come out yet? I haven't seen those. I just saw it's a 1-year deal.
I haven't seen it. I'm sure it's going to be pretty small.
Yeah, under $3 million, I'm guessing. So, but the production, like you said, is there. Cali kid, born in Zimbabwe. That was a fun fact. Truly African American, our guy here, Nate Landman. But came to Cali, went to Monte Vista High School up in the Bay Area. And then went to, like you said, Colorado pre-Deion. Was not there when Deion was there yet, but played there and then now in the league with Atlanta. But I think the more telling thing is, the NFL, like all jobs, is a network league. Like you network and you kind of word of mouth. And you mentioned the Raheem Morris aspect to it, but also Jimmy Lake, who was the Falcons defensive coordinator last year, back with the Rams this year as a senior assistant or whatever his title officially is. So clearly there was some fondness there from Jimmy Lake being back and saying, hey, this guy's a free agent. We liked what he did in Atlanta. Let's bring him over here. Sure, McVay and Raheem talked about this kid and what his ability is. So, the more you kind of chew on it, I think it is a very good bargain signing. There's still some names out there I would love. I mean, they still can take a flyer. They need more guys. They need more bodies. But I think this one actually is a solid signing for what the value is at 1 year. Again, guessing at this point, but probably it's going to be under $3 million.
Yeah. Can't complain about it. Now they have 3 linebackers on the roster, 2 with some playing experience. That was my big worry is you got Speights, who's played 1 year, most of 1 year anyway.
Yeah.
It wasn't a starter to begin with. Troy Reeder was until he got hurt.
Yep.
But slotted in nicely there. But just the amount of experience, and I like Speights a lot. But this is kind of what I'm looking for: coverage guy, more athletic rather than kind of that run stopper, the gap kind of guy. So I think all in all, I think this is a very Rams signing. And it seems like it should work out just nicely for them. But I think they do have to add more bodies into that room, whether that's other kind of bargain aisle free agents or in the draft. They've got to get some more bodies in there.
Where's Daniel Hardy at these days?
Chicago, last I saw.
Because he was Chicago. I remember that guy. Obviously, he was a late round pick out of Montana. I remember there was just a lot of excitement around his athleticism, and just never he was dealing with some injuries and never got on the field, and then was just released. Another, that was just that whole draft class, just not great.
Yeah.
Not great, but where is it? Did you look it up?
Looks like Chicago still. Yeah, Chicago.
Okay. But yeah, interesting. So yeah, Nate Landman. Like it. We'll see how he does, see how he looks in horns. But let's look now to the draft, Skinny. It's draft season, baby. Still free agency out there. Rams, according to Over the Cap, have 30, what would I say, 30 million in cap space. I'm not sure how fully accurate that is. I think some of these deals are not publicly official. Obviously, as we just mentioned, Landman's contract, it's just fun to say Landman's contract not officially out there. So, but probably the Rams are between about 19 and 30 million in cap space. So they still have some to sign. They need to save between 10 and 12 for their draft class. So, they might have about 10 million bucks to play with if they do bring anyone else in. That being said, though, first round pick, sitting at 26 overall. Before we kind of look at some players, just to you, as the team is, let's just pretend they're not going to sign anyone else. I still think they might, but let's pretend the roster's set until the draft. What positions are you keying in on with that 26th overall pick?
Yeah, I'm looking at cornerback, especially. Didn't really add anything, I don't believe, in free agency. There's still a big hole on the outside. Question marks about Derion Kendrick's health. Trey Tomlinson's out of the building now. You've got Cobie Durant still there, but all question marks to me. So cornerback, and then I'm looking at tight end as well. Who's the succession plan for Tyler Higbee? Who are they going to match? What is the tight end room going to look like going into the season? Is it going to include Colby Parkinson still? What is Davis Allen? Is he going to take that next step forward? So lots of questions in that realm. So if we're talking specifically first round, those are the two I'm looking at. I still have a little bit of a beating heart for a center in the first round, as much as people might not want to hear that. But go back, watch some Coleman Shelton tape. Go back, watch some Bo Limmer tape, and tell me if you wouldn't want an upgrade there. Matthew Stafford got beat up a lot last year. I wouldn't say Steve Avila or Kevin Dotson were the ones that took a step back. So I'm still looking at that center spot. Anything else? Any other ones on the front of your mind?
Nope. Those are all the ones I was exactly going to say. Obviously other positions they'll add at later rounds, but I don't, and linebackers still, I still think linebackers, if one of these top guys drops at 26, I think that could be a great pick as well, but you're not going to take a running back at 26, even though they'll probably draft for depth there, I'm guessing. You're not going to take a receiver unless one of these great, I mean, if Ted McMillan or something falls, do you add him to that Devontae Adams, Puka Nacua rotation?
It would be pretty incredible. I mean, it wouldn't be I wouldn't be mad at it. I would still have those other questions about those other positions. Yeah. Because, I mean, after the first round, they're making the big leap. As of right now, as everything stands right now, they're making the big leap from the first to the third because they traded up to go get Braden Fisk. So, it's, I wouldn't be mad at it. I'll say that much. And, Les Snead was on the Pat McAfee show talking all things Rams football with those guys. And he brought up the fact that Devontae Adams' addition is the next iteration. There's going to be a new iteration of the Rams offense. So what is that going to look like in terms of receiver packages? We know the 11 personnel is huge for them. Are they moving more towards 12 personnel or other packages? That's kind of been the signal that they've been pointing toward. Is that they basically what I'm trying to say is they played with more 12 personnel this year than they ever have, like combined probably for the rest of the years with Cooper Kupp or with Sean McVay. So, it'll be interesting, and it'll say a lot about Jordan Whittington, what his future looks like if they're continuing to draft at the position. Did they like what they saw? I liked what I saw when he was able to get on the field when all the injuries were happening, but still a question mark. Yeah,
definitely. I would have, before looking, I guess, at some of these players, these positions we mentioned, the Rams brought back Coleman Shelton at that center position, and I don't even know if they've still released the contract details on him. Have they? I don't think. I officially know. I know it's a 2-year deal, but I don't know if they've officially released. And obviously they didn't know this at the time because this happened after. But just yesterday, the Vikings released Garrett Bradbury, there's former first round center, and the Patriots just signed him like an hour ago, a 2-year, $12 million, so $6 million a year for, I think, a good center. Now, obviously, he's not like fantastic. There's a reason why the Vikings released him, and their offensive line was pretty porous last year, and they've done some to like revamp that. But at that price, does he give you more confidence than the combination of Coleman Shelton and Bo Limmer? I'd say probably yes. Again, Bo Limmer's on a rookie deal, great undrafted free agent, showed some stuff that he could, improve on. Coleman Shelton, I think, is not like awful. Obviously, he upgrades based on what they had last year, but I think Bradbury would be a better upgrade next to the two guards they have and the tackles. So hindsight's 2020. They signed Shelton before the Vikings released Bradbury, so obviously, hands are tied there. But it would have been nice to go into the draft with maybe a same age as Shelton. They're both 29 years old. I think the same draft class actually. But so we'll see how that goes. And I think the Rams definitely will take a center at some point, or at least an interior versatile guy that can play center or guard. We'll see who falls in the first. But it seems like, Skinny, and this is where we can take this however way we want, but mock drafts for the Rams are basically pointless. No one ever mocks right what the Rams did, except for us last year. We were the ones that stuck to our guns that they were going edge, and they went edge. Right. We were like the only ones. Everyone started shifting and changing. We stuck with edge. They went edge. This year, almost every mock draft out there, Daniel Jeremiah, Mel Kiper, 33rd team, I think some of the PFF ones, almost all of them have the Rams going cornerback. All of them have a different cornerback, it seems like, but all of them have them going cornerback, which I agree on paper is probably the biggest need. Will they end up bringing Witherspoon back before the draft? We'll see. I still don't know what's going on there, and it seems like it makes sense if the price is right. But so, what are some names, I guess, if you have any, of some corners that you would like for the Rams at 26?
Trading up is something that I could see happening. So I'm going to get real spicy here, and I'm just going to throw out the big name in the draft board at the position. Nobody's talking about this guy going to the Rams. Are they tempted like they were tempted by Brock Bowers to go get Travis Hunter out of the University of Colorado? How high up would they have to draft to go get Travis Hunter? Now, so I'll say this. They don't pussyfoot around, these Rams.
Yeah.
When they want a guy, they're going to go to try to get him. So I'll say that much. Is it rich? Is it stupid? Probably. Is it too rich? Definitely. But I'm going to throw out this interesting stat about the Rams draft. There is no true cornerback that they have drafted in the first 3 rounds of the draft other than David Long in the tenure of Sean McVay. Is it time that they pull the trigger on this and go get a generational player? He's number 1 on some people's draft boards above every other talented person in this draft. So is this the year that they invest heavily at the position? I don't know.
Spicy. Let me ask you this. I know he says he will, Travis Hunter that is. Like, do you think he'll actually play both ways in the NFL? And if not, do you think he'll be more a corner or a receiver? Based on this scenario, you're viewing it as the Rams are viewing him as a corner, I would assume.
Yeah, definitely as a corner. I think that's what all the experts are leaning towards for him to play. And I think that, given as much stock as the Rams put into a thing like, all the tracking data that they get, I don't think he'll play both ways, all snaps of offense and defense. Now, working him into some packages, I think that kind of thing would light up Sean McVay's brain. Yeah. I think he would get really excited to have a toy like that he could play with, and then also have him on the field for the defense as well. Yeah. So, trading up, he's probably, they'd have to get into the top 5, I imagine.
Yeah.
To go get a guy like that.
Seems like everyone has him. Yeah. Top 2. Basically he's the first non-quarterback by most. Some have Abdul Carter up there. Some now have Abdul Carter, the edge out of Penn State, dropping back to like the bottom of the 10s. So like 8, 9, 10. But almost everyone has Hunter as like top 3. So going up from 26 to, let's just call it 2. I'm not saying I'm against it, but man, that's going to be some rich. But if this is a window, as everyone talks about, Matthew Stafford 1-year deals for the rest of his career with the Rams. Like a player like Travis Hunter is going to do the most probably for this team to win right now because of everything you just said. Versatility, is probably the best receiver in the draft, or at least 1B, and arguably the best corner in the draft. So whatever you decide with them, you're getting the best player. Oh, but you can also put him out there as he's the best on the other side if you want to, and if it merits. So he would certainly, if they decide, hey, it's worth 3 first-round picks because this guy can help us win the Super Bowl this year, as opposed to maybe another corner we can talk about who will be a good draft pick for the future, but will he even start as a rookie? We don't know. It's interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. And, the reason I reach for that one is because of where they're sitting in the draft. I think probably the next guy on everybody's list is Will Johnson out of Michigan.
Yeah.
And I think they'd have to trade up to get him. I think he's probably going to go top 15. So, why not just go for the home run if you're going to reach for one of these guys? Now, I like Will Johnson, 6'2", 200 pounds, really good in press, good in zone, good athlete, good size, which they've really struggled to find anybody with the combination of all that good stuff. So, but again, you're trading up. It's not going to be as pricey, but I think that, you're still trading up. And, then you're sitting at 26, and it seems, Siobhan Ravel, I think, is probably a reach at 26. Not a big reach.
Yeah.
But then there's other guys that are getting mocked to him. Jahdae Barron from Texas.
Mm-hmm.
Lacks some of the physical traits, some of the size and length that you would want to see. And I think that's a big reach at 26. And then Daniel Jeremiah had Trey Amos and Dane Brugler, who I put a lot of stock in what Dane Brugler has to say.
Yeah,
he has Trey Amos at 93 on his top 100. So, they're in a weird spot for the cornerback position. So they're either going to have to trade up or trade back, which I think is completely on the table in either direction.
Yeah, I totally agree. So let me just put this scenario, because I agree with everything you said. Obviously, this is not, well, I'm not even going to say it's not likely. Last year, we saw a crazy run of offensive players, so there was just a lot of talented defensive players left in the later part of the first round. So I don't think, and we'll move off of the Hunter scenario. So let's say they're staying at 26. I don't think Jihad Campbell, linebacker out of Bama, makes it that far. I think he'll be a top 15 pick. But let's just pretend that arguably the next best linebacker is Jalen Walker out of Georgia. Now, I've seen in mocks him go anywhere in the teens, but you never know if he falls. So let's just say Jalen Walker is there at 26. Jahdae Barron, is there at 26, which again, that would be quite a fall. Not quite a fall, but unlikely. Will Johnson is there. I just did a mock and he went 1 pick before. So, there's a chance he could stay at 26. Or Colson Loveland, tight end. So you have those 4 options: linebacker, 2 corners, or tight end. Like, what? I'm not even saying what you think the Rams will do, but what would you want to do right there?
I mean, I would want to go tight end there, just because I don't think they have answers. I think that's probably the right answer. Now first round tight ends are hit or miss.
Yeah.
They have to have, all the attributes plus be super smart and quick, pick all the stuff up that they have to learn at the position at the pro game. And that's not an easy thing for the Rams specifically. So, I mean, just, looking at the depth chart, my 13-year-old Madden brain, I'm like, well, we don't have any linebackers. Let's get a linebacker. But the same could be said. Who are the cornerbacks that you were saying are left at that point?
Will Johnson. I don't think definitely both will be there, but just for the sake of conversation, Will Johnson or Jahdae Barron out of Texas.
Well, I think I would go Will Johnson there, just because I think he is more versatile and has the quintessential size. So yeah, good. You can put him everywhere. I mean, I think Will Johnson is a true shutdown cornerback.
Yeah. I mean, that would be tough. with those players. I mean, that's the best case scenario. I mean, the Rams didn't have such good options, and they can't go wrong really with any of those. I just, because of how they value the position, even though it's a huge need, like I can't see them taking a linebacker in the first round. I just can't see them doing it, even if one falls to them at 26 of that caliber. And while I would love Will Johnson out of the two corners. I think that'd be a home run pick at 26, and the Rams, need more depth there. As it is right now, you're basically, I think the unit played well, but you're rolling out with Darius Williams and Cobie Durant as your two starting outsides with Quentin Lake as your nickel corner, who I thought played fairly good in stretches last year. But your depth obviously is a question. Derion Kendrick, as you mentioned, come back from an injury. Not re-signing Akhello Witherspoon, which maybe they will, and that it will answer some questions if they do re-sign him before the draft. Maybe we'll see Emmanuel Forbes put on 80 pounds and look like an NFL player. Him and Tutu on the same workout regimen, maybe. But as much as I like Will Johnson, like if this is available, it's Colson Loveland. I mean, there was absolute smoke to the reality that Sean McVay wanted Brock Bowers. And, we've said it many times. Jared Verse, obviously home run pick, defensive rookie of the year, looks fantastic, was unbelievable in this defense, and they did such a good job with him and Braden Fisk. But I think we all know how good Brock Bowers is and how good he was on a terrible Raiders offense with no quarterback play, multiple different starters throughout the season, and still led rookies in receiving and just looked dominant out there. And the Raiders had a top tight end that they drafted just the year prior in Michael Mayer. Now he's on the trade block because of how good Brock Bowers is. He just can't get on the field. We know McVay wanted him. So if Loveland falls to 26, and I don't even know if Loveland's on Bowers' level, but he is a true quintessential tight end that can block, that can catch, that has the route tree available to him, that's very smart, played in a cerebral Jim Harbaugh system for many years. Obviously, last year was Sean Marone. That's the pick to me. They would all be good picks. But just if I'm putting on my less need Sean McVay hat, if Loveland's there at 26, it'll be Loveland.
Yeah, and you don't think Tyler Warren is going to be even close to sniffing range?
If Tyler Warren's there at 26, yeah, they better run that card to the table. I think he's going to be top 12 pick.
Do you think that he would be a trade up candidate? Would you go after Tyler Warren? I mean, where do you he's going probably in the teens, I would imagine. Yeah.
So what I love about covering USC is obviously, USC is obviously great, fun to cover, and all the LA teams are. But, I'm not telling you this, but just for our listeners, I'm at every USC game. I try to travel to a lot of them. I'm at every home game, at practice. And when you see things live, especially from the press box where you have more of a bird's eye view, I feel like you can sometimes evaluate more than even just what you see on TV. Mm-hmm. When Penn State came to the Collie last year in that thrilling overtime loss for the Trojans, Tyler Warren had 17 catches, 245 yards and a touchdown. His touchdown, he lined up as center. It was a really weird play. I was asking guys in the press, how is that not a legal formation? The center, he snapped the ball and then he's the one that caught the touchdown. I feel like but I guess if you're not covered I don't know. We won't get into those semantics, but what he did to the Trojans and me be able to see it live, it gives me that much more confidence that this dude is really special because, he has all the traits, but I think he'll be gone. But to answer your question, trading up for Travis Hunter would be great. Why not? I'm all for chaos. That'd be fun. But trading up for a Tyler Warren, I think you could get up to that maybe where he would go, which is in probably the same Brock Bowers range. Bowers went 10 last year. I think you could probably get up to that 10 to 15 range with your 26 and maybe next year's first would do it. And I think that'd be worth it.
Yeah. Well, and on the other side of the coin, you think about trading back. Les Need says this range of the draft is purgatory.
Yeah.
I can't imagine he's going to stay. I don't think he's going to stay at 26.
Yeah.
But trading back, you end up in the 30s, let's say, somewhere in the high 30s or low 30s, I guess, first round still. But, then you can get, I think there's going to be cornerbacks available and linebackers available in that range, and that, they can pick up a second round pick and go cornerback and linebacker. And maybe, I think tight ends are deep enough where you can go get an Elijah Arroyo, who's got some fantastic traits, out of Miami. I think, I think either one of those plays, I think, is the right answer. I think standing pat is probably, it's not in his blood, and I think it's probably not the best answer either. I think trading up or trading back, one is just a lot more fun, but I think it's a lot more less need. And I honestly think one of the two is going to happen. I think they're going to explore those first and foremost before, just sitting around.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like trading up would be fun. Obviously you're going all in. Trading back, it's like they want to get that second round pick back that they traded last year to get Braden Fisk, and the trading back would allow them to potentially do that. So I agree, but it's gonna be fun. I'm glad we're doing draft talk, baby. We're in a draft season.
Yeah,
a little over a month away. April 24th is the first round. So we'll have ramping up our draft coverage. Can't wait. It's super fun. I know fans love it. You have anything else to add before we wrap this episode up?
No, let's get out of here. Pity of the listener.
Yeah, there we go. Nice 30 minutes, short and sweet. So plenty more stuff coming. Thank you guys as always for making us a part of your day. If you haven't already, hit that like and subscribe button on YouTube. Rams LAFB is how you can find us. Everything can be found on LAFBnetwork.com, all of our LA sports coverage. Or if you prefer on podcasts, Apple, Spotify, just search Rams Skinny. For Skinny T, I'm Ryan Dart. Everyone stay well, stay healthy. A lot of flu season going around. Stay healthy out there. Enjoy the nice weather. And we'll talk to you guys all in a couple days.